In the high-stakes theater of global motorsport, silence is often louder than the roar of an engine. Right now, a distinctive silence has fallen over the MotoGP paddock, a quiet unease that signals a coming storm. We are not talking about a new engine regulation or a shift in aerodynamics. We are talking about an individual, a rider who has spent the last few years rewriting the laws of physics in the World Superbike Championship, Toprak Razgatlıoğlu. His name alone carries a weight that makes team managers nervous. Why? Because what he does on a motorcycle shouldn't be possible. We are witnessing a rider who enters corners with his rear wheel suspended in the air, defying gravity and logic at over 200 kilometers per hour. It is a visual so striking, so aggressive, that it has forced the entire racing world to stop and pay attention. He isn't just winning. He is humiliating the established order with a style that screams total control. But as the rumors of a 2026 MotoGP entry intensify, the question isn't just about his speed. The question is far more dangerous for the current grid. But to understand why this specific rider is causing such panic, we have to listen to the one man who has seen it all before. When Valentino Rossi speaks, the racing world doesn't just listen. It takes notes. The 9-time world champion is not known for handing out compliments lightly, especially to riders outside his own academy. Yet, his assessment of Toprak Razgatlıoğlu has been nothing short of reverent. Rossi has publicly identified a killer instinct in the Turkish star, a specific, aggressive quality that reminds the doctor of his own early years fighting for dominance. Rossi highlighted something crucial: the braking phase. He described Toprak's ability to halt the bike in situations that appear mathematically impossible, often saving the daring overtake maneuver for the very last meter of asphalt. This is the highest form of validation a rider can receive. It separates the talented from the chosen. Rossi sees a reflection of the old school, gladiatorial spirit that many believe modern MotoGP has lost. It is a ringing endorsement that validates Toprak not as a visitor, but as a conqueror in waiting. However, praise from a legend is one thing. Translating that unique style to the most difficult motorcycles on the planet is a challenge that has ruined careers before. Let's analyze the technical anomaly that defines him. In modern racing, engineers fight for every millimeter of contact with the ground. Traction is everything. Yet, Toprak's signature maneuver, the Stoppie, is a direct rebellion against this philosophy. By lifting the rear wheel under extreme deceleration, he is putting 100% of his trust into a contact patch the size of a credit card. It is a high-wire act performed at breakneck speeds. Observers and analysts are baffled. While current MotoGP champions are obsessed with ride-hate devices and ground effect aerodynamics to keep the bike planted, Toprak is riding loose, wild, and free. It is a style that requires a level of sensitivity that cannot be taught. It is raw feeling. It is a rejection of the computer-controlled era, but this creates a massive technical conflict. Can a style so dependent on front-end pressure actually work on a MotoGP prototype designed to be ridden flat? The skeptics say no. They say the electronics will fight him. But Toprak has made a career out of proving the skeptics wrong, and his unique approach has caught the eye of those who know what it takes to survive at the top. It is not just Rossi who is captivated. Former elite riders like Marco Melandri have stepped forward to analyze this phenomenon. The consensus is shifting. Melandri argues that while the current grid is packed with riders who are incredibly fast, they are often indistinguishable from one another, products of a system that rewards a specific, uniform riding style. Toprak is different. He is the outlier. Melandri notes that Toprak possesses a singular style unmatched by any competitor today. When you compare him to legends like Casey Stoner, who controlled the bike with the rear brake, or Marc Marquez, who pushes the front to the absolute limit, Toprak sits somewhere in between, a hybrid of chaos and precision. He represents a variable that the data engineers cannot quantify. In a sport dominated by predictability and tire management, he brings the element of surprise. He doesn't just pass you, he passes you in places you didn't think were corners. Talent, however, is only half of the equation. Behind the visor lies a political battle that is just as intense as the racing itself. To understand Toprak's trajectory, you must understand the iron wall protecting him. Kenan Sofuoglu. His manager and mentor is not your typical agent. He is a 5-time world champion with a reputation for ruthless negotiation. The strategy has been clear from day one. Toprak will not enter MotoGP to make up the numbers. He will not accept a B-team ride. It is a factory contract or nothing. This all or nothing ultimatum has frustrated MotoGP manufacturers for years. Offers have been made and rejected. Bridges have been burned. It is a high-stakes poker game where Kenan is betting Toprak's entire future on his own value. This has created a tension behind the scenes that rarely reaches the public ear. The factories want control. Toprak's camp demands respect. It is a clash of egos that has kept him out of the premier class until now. But as 2026 approaches, the leverage is shifting. The manufacturers are realizing they might need him more than he needs them. And why are they so sure of his value? Because he did the one thing everyone said was impossible. When Toprak announced he was leaving the championship, winning Yamaha team to join BMW, the paddock laughed. It was called carrier suicide. The BMW was widely considered a flawed machine, a bike that burned through tires and lacked consistency. Critics claimed he was chasing money and sacrificing his legacy. It was the perfect setup for a dramatic failure. But then, the lights went out. Within weeks, Toprak didn't just tame the BMW, he transformed it into a weapon. He took a machine that others struggled to ride and dominated the field. This was the turning point. It proved that he isn't just a fast rider, he is a development genius. He has the rare ability to ride around mechanical problems, to mask a bike's deficiencies with sheer talent. This is the exact skill set required for a MotoGP rookie entering a new team. He silenced the laughter and turned it into fear. Yet despite this heroics, a massive technical barrier remains. A barrier that has ended the dreams of superbike champions for decades. We must address the elephant in the room. The tires. The transition from Worlds VK to MotoGP is not just about horsepower, it is about the rubber. Toprak has built his career on Pirelli tires, which are flexible, forgiving, and allow for his aggressive, moving style. MotoGP uses Michelin's, stiff, precise, and notoriously unforgiving at the limit. History is littered with champions who couldn't make this switch. Legends like Colin Edwards and Ben Spies showed flashes of brilliance, but struggled to find consistency. The Michelin front tire requires a specific loading technique. If you push it too hard, like Toprak does, it doesn't warn you. It just lets go. This is the biggest risk in the entire 2026 project. Will his greatest strength, that aggressive deep braking, become his fatal weakness on a prototype machine? The engineers are worried. One small miscalculation in adaptation could turn a dream move into a nightmare season. The risks are real, but time is running out. The contracts are being drafted, and the grid is about to face a massive shakeup. The timing could not be more perfect or more chaotic. The 2026 season marks a new era of regulations, a reset button for the manufacturers. Contracts for many of the current top stars are aligning to expire. The paddock is preparing for a musical chairs scenario of epic proportions, and Toprak Razgatlıoğlu is the wild card that everyone is watching. Reports suggest that discussions are already advanced. The Japanese manufacturers are desperate for a savior to lead them back to glory. The European factories want to secure the best talent to maintain their dominance. Toprak is the piece of the puzzle that doesn't fit the standard mold, and that makes him incredibly valuable. He brings a fan base, a narrative, and a speed that can sell tickets. The excitement is palpable, but so is the anxiety among the current riders. They know that a seat for Toprak means someone else loses their livelihood. As the negotiations enter the final phase, the psychological warfare has already begun on the track. Racing is 90% mental, and Toprak has already won a battle without even lining up on the grid. He has established an aura of invincibility. When he enters a corner, he occupies a space that other riders leave vacant. It is aggressive, yes, but it is calculated. This creates a psychological pressure on his rivals. They know that if they leave the door open by even an inch, he will be there. Imagine the scenario: Toprak on a factory MotoGP bike, diving down the inside of the current world champion. It is a clash of styles, a clash of cultures. The established European hierarchy versus the challenger from the East. The riders currently dominating the sport are used to a certain rhythm, a certain flow. Toprak disrupts that rhythm. He breaks the flow. He is the variable they cannot simulate in the wind tunnel. And deep down, they know that adapting to him will be harder than he needs to adapt to the bike. The stage is set. The players are ready. And the countdown to the most anticipated debut in modern history has officially begun. All signs now point to one inevitable conclusion. Toprak Razgatlıoğlu will be on the MotoGP in 2026. This is not just a transfer, it is an invasion. We are looking at a transition that promises to inject a fresh, aggressive dynamic into a sport that is desperate for a new icon. Fans and pundits alike expect him not merely to participate, but to dismantle the hierarchy. The skeptics will point to the tires, the electronics, and the history books. The believers will point to his talent, his adaptation, and the words of Valentino Rossi. But the truth will only be revealed when the visor goes down and the lights go out. He is the master of control, the king of the Stoppie, and the man who makes the impossible look routine. The world is watching. The MotoGP paddock is waiting. And, if the rumors are true, the established order is about to face its greatest test yet.